AEW WrestleDream takes place this Sunday, October the 1st in Seattle, Washington. It is dedicated to Antonio Inoki. Of course, it'll be 1 year since his passing, so this show will be in honor of him. There are 10 matches in total, of course, many of the AEW roster, including some as well of the New Japan roster. And of course, what I expect to be the main event of this show, the dream match between Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Feel free to share your predictions in the comments below if you're watching live, and of course if you're watching on delay, then make sure to share your predictions in the comment section as well. For those unaware of what matches will be on this show, without further ado, here they are. So there you have it there. That is going to be AEW WrestleDream. 10 matches in total that I will be discussing them here today. I've got to say the match I'm most looking forward to, surprise, surprise, yes, it is Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Excitement level for this show is quite high. I'm not going to lie for you. I actually feel that AEW have done quite a good job with a number of the matches in the booking of this show. There are a few matches that have been sort of thrown together on here as well, and I think we'll be quite quick in giving those predictions here today. But like I say, feel free to share your predictions in the comments below. But just before we get ourselves started, we do need to go into the comment section and see what everybody is saying here today. So without further ado, we got RA9 Gamer In-House and American Nightmare. Hope you're both keeping well. Hope that you're both doing well, and hope that you enjoy the video. So without further ado, we're not going to waste any time getting straight into it then with match one. And of course, that is going to be today for us, Swerve Strickland going against Hangman Adam Page. Now, of course, this match, if you look between these two, this is pretty much, well, Swerve's saying that he can do what Adam Page could do if he was given the opportunities. Hangman Adam Page has been given every opportunity here in AEW, something that Swerve wishes he could have. And of course, when you look at things, Swerve may have a point. Of course, when you look at his history, he's a former AEW World Tag Team Champion. He's not had the prominent position of going for these big main event matches. So let's see what will happen to this Sunday when he's put in a position against Hangman Adam Page. And he has said that Page is someone that's been given these opportunities, but pretty much taking it for granted. It's been lackluster over the last 12 months. Not even updated his ring gear. I imagine that Page will do that for this match, especially in Seattle, which of course Seattle is where Strickland is from as well. So perhaps there will be a bit of a hometown advantage for Swerve in this match. Maybe a blur of the lines of babyface and heel dynamic as well. But the big question is, who is going to win? Is it going to be Swerve Strickland, or is it going to be Hangman Adam Page? Now, if we're going to be getting my personal opinion on this, look, it's sink or swim time for Swerve. This is a big opportunity, a big time match. If you're going to really take him to the next level, and he claims he could be the first black world champion in AEW, you need to give him the win here. This is an important match. Of course, for Hangman Adam Page, on the flip side, you could turn around and say, well, hang on, for Page to get back into the title picture, perhaps he needs the win as well. It could go either way. This is a difficult one to predict, but I'm going to go for Swerve Strickland. I think it's the right move to do. I think that the Mogul Embassy are getting over quite a bit at the moment with AEW, of course, especially Prince Nana with his dancing as well. And don't worry, I'm not going to treat it as some dance moves from me here today. That would get quite a few dislike buttons here on YouTube. But Swerve Strickland will be my prediction there for the first match. And hopefully from there, he can build upon this and perhaps go for some top championships, some main event spots in AEW. I'd quite like, in fact, the World Title Eliminator Tournament is usually done around Full Gear, perhaps going into winter is coming. That could be a perfect destination for Swerve Strickland to solidify himself as a #1 contender going into the new year. But as for Hangman Adam Page, he's someone that's used to spiraling. That's been his gimmick since day one in AEW, to overcome those odds as a top babyface like he should. And for me, I think that this would just get the ball rolling once again. And I think that we've started the story, some accusations going from Swerve. If Hangman loses here, then he's got something to build upon to then, another hill to climb if you want. And I think that could be perfect for Hangman Adam Page. We'll move on in the meantime then for match number 2 that we'll be discussing here today. And I'm going to be talking about the 6-man tag team match between Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, and they will be going against Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita, of course, the Don Callis family. Now, if we look at this one, honestly, it all writes itself really here. Kenny Omega, of course, has been backstabbed by Don Callis. So has Chris Jericho, and Kota Ibushi has been made the target by Don Callis for Takeshita to take him out. Sammy Guevara, of course, has turned on Chris Jericho, very similar in the WrestleMania 19 fashion at Grand Slam, the way that Jericho did to Shawn Michaels with the low blow after the match in a losing effort. That's what Guevara did here. It was a beautiful touch, and the fact that Guevara had similar ring gear as well to Jericho at WrestleMania 19, I thought just added things even further. Ospreay being a part of the Callis family. Look, we've got Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in the same match once again. Let's not forget Ospreay and Jericho faced off at Allin earlier this year. I'm really looking forward to this match, obviously. As I've said a few times already, I can see arguments for both sides winning here, but to give my prediction, I think it makes most sense here for the team that coexist, that we know is going to coexist, the Don Callis family to pick up the victory, because Omega and Jericho are used to being rivals. They're not used to being best friends and tag team partners. Perhaps maybe they can build upon this in the future to a future event to pick up a win here over the Don Callis family. But in the meantime, Kota Ibushi is the target for Takeshita. That target was made even in Japan this past week on Dynamite. We saw the clips of it. I think that's going to be the finish of this match. Ibushi will be the fallen one, and I think Omega will have to see his friend, the Golden Lover, lose and really feel the feels for that. And I think it will just give more momentum for Omega and Jericho to look to get revenge on the Don Callis family. Perhaps when Ospreay goes off to do his other stuff in Impact Wrestling later this month, we can build to Omega and Jericho versus Takeshita and Guevara towards Full Gear. We'll move on in the meantime into match 3, and I mentioned about Seattle natives. We've got Darby Allin, of course, going for the TNT Championship against Christian Cage, the champion, the father of the year. Of course, Darby Allin, no stranger to winning the TNT title in Seattle. He did that at the start of the year, of course, against Samoa Joe. So he's done it before, but will he be able to do it again? This match will be 2 out of 3 falls as well. The rivalry with Darby Allin and Christian Cage has been going on for quite a while. And of course, well, Darby Allin has picked up some wins over Christian Cage as well. But looking at this, I'm not too sure for a result. I'm kind of split on this one. Darby Allin being the hometown hero, you do think he could do it again. He's someone that's known with the TNT Championship. He's held it 3 occasions at this point, but Christian Cage has only been champion for a week. He's been the champion in his eyes as Luchasaurus held that title, but now Christian Cage even, I don't want to say stabbing in the back, but he pinned Luchasaurus in that 3-way on Collision to win this title. It would be the most heel thing ever to win the title eventually when you've been calling yourself champion for a long time and then lose it in the first title defense. For me, I'm going to go out and say that I think Christian Cage will find a way to do it. Darby Allin has said, if you've got the balls, don't bring Luchasaurus to ringside with you. Will Christian Cage listen to that? We'll have to wait and see. Christian Cage, of course, being Father of the Year, of course, has said all the stuff where he's, bring the family with you, do all that sort of stuff. Even bring Nick Wayne and Nick Wayne's mum as well, which, of course, and went with Darby's uncle as well, the one that passed away that was driving Darby Allin when he was a youngster. So Christian Cage knows how to press the buttons here. But I'm going to go for Christian to pick up the win. I think he'll find a way to do so. I'm not going to include the music anymore if we've been listening to the music so far. I've tried it out on this with the live stream. I don't think it works the same as it does with the regular upload, so I won't be continuing that for the rest of the video. So apologies for the one that has been enjoying it. But we'll move on in the meantime, and we'll go on to what will be match 4 of this card. We're talking the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR going against Aussie Open. Of course, this match is 1 year after it was done for New Japan. I believe that was in London when they faced off previously. Of course, FTR did pick up the win, and it was a 5-star rated match from Mr. Dave Meltzer. So it does feel fitting to do this match again, although I will be getting my first bit of real criticism here for AEW. I just think this match could have been built and booked a bit better than what we have been seeing, in my personal opinion. I do believe that Aussie Open have not been pushed the same way. They've been a team that's come in, have matches, but they've not had the time to really push forward with what they're doing. FTR, of course, they have 5-star matches for fun at the moment in the AEW Tag Team division. But Aussie Open have said themselves they have not actually broke out to the way that they see the potential of what they've got in AEW. They feel that they can do more and they can show more. And I think that this is the perfect match for them. It's almost like a coming out party for Aussie Open. Will there be the AEW World Tag Team Championships? I don't see it. I see FTR retaining, but I do think this will be a 5-star match between these two teams. And what I will say is that I do feel that hopefully going forward, Aussie Open will be treated like a big deal. They were Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, so I suppose I shouldn't be too dismissive here, but they've been sort of a placeholder for what was the Adam Cole and MJF storyline with the buy-in match that they had at Wembley Stadium. A match that you felt probably could have, perhaps we should have gone 25 minutes. You can't really do that when Cole and MJF are going to have that same length of time of match in the main event. So it did make sense at that point. But still, this match will be an absolute banger, potentially match of the night, even though I think a lot of people that are not familiar with Aussie Open will perhaps not be used to seeing that. So for me, I'm looking forward to it for that reason. But FTR for me will pick up the dub. We move on then to match 5. And of course, speaking of tag team championships, who will get a tag team title shot? Will it be the Young Bucks, the Guns, Orange Cassidy and Hook, or the Lucha Bros? The winner of this gets that tag team title shot at any time. We're going to hold the graphic back up again, actually, for this one, because I think if you look at it, the Young Bucks, they just had their shot at Wembley. The Guns, of course, have faced FTR earlier in the year. Lucha Bros, they faced FTR a couple of years ago. And of course, Phoenix is currently now the international champion. I wasn't so thrilled when I saw Lucha Bros and FTR face off before, but perhaps just maybe there is a chance that when you look at it, there's some unfinished business there and they want to redo it. But Orange Cassidy and Hook are seen as the team with the momentum. So, I mean, that's the team with the momentum they're going through. I do wonder if they will win this match. Of course, Orange Cassidy won a 4-way on Dynamite this past week. And of course, that usually says to me that they're not going to win when it comes to the big show. But to talk about Orange Cassidy and Hook, that friendship just for the short term, I do believe that Orange Cassidy is caring that he's not holding a championship anymore. He's sort of, he's been beaten up and battered after losing that international championship. He was jealous of Hook when he saw him hold that title originally. And of course, now they've got that budding friendship going on. But I can see Orange Cassidy going down the Jungle Boy route. I can really see a potential heel turn coming at some point. Orange Cassidy, someone who cares from someone that was all about whatever before. I could see that real shift and dynamic in character, but I don't see it yet. I see that him and Hook will win this match. And I think perhaps if they lose to FTR, then we can see perhaps the starting motion of a change in Orange Cassidy. I think personally it could be quite fun. We did see Orange Cassidy cut a long promo before the match with John Moxley just recently. Of course, he said didn't have a catchphrase, which still fits into the Orange Cassidy narrative, but to even speak that long isn't something he's used to doing. So to see those tweaks and those changes for me could be fascinating. I will go for Cassidy and Hook to pick up the win here. We're in the mood of talking tag team championships, so without further ado, let's talk about the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, a 2-on-1 handicap match. MJF, of course, defending the ROH Tag Team titles against the Righteous, who won themselves a #1 contenders match to get to this position. Now, of course, Adam Cole, of course, is injured at this particular moment. Took a big leap off the stage at Grand Slam, and apparently he's broke his ankle in 3 places, ligaments as well, and has had to have surgery. So he's gone off to the sunset in the meantime, talking off with Roderick Strong, his other friend, and of course, along with the Kingdom. It'll be interesting to see what the links are with the Devil. Of course, I have to mention it very briefly. MJF's Master Devil was at the end of Dynamite this past week attacking Jay White. Not long after MJF and Jay White were in the middle of the ring, having a backwards and forwards on the mic. So it's going to be interesting to see who took out Jay White and what it's going to mean. I wouldn't be surprised if MJF is being framed at this point. That's all I'll say for this video, unless anyone really wants more dirt. You can ask it right in the comments. But to look for it here and today, will MJF keep his promise to Adam Cole? Will he be that guy that will be able to keep those Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships for Adam Cole in 2-on-1 handicap matches? Because that's what he's doing for his friend. He's doing that for the one friend that he has. But the Righteous, for me, they're an underrated tag team. I really enjoyed their work in Ring of Honor previously. Vincent, of course, has done some great work in Impact Wrestling recently. But I don't think they're going to be picking up the W here. I think that MJF will find a way to overcome it because MJF is the world champion. You don't be pinning the world champion at this particular time, and certainly not at this moment, in my opinion. I think he overcomes the Righteous. If I'm going to be honest with who I think will take those tag team titles off of MJF, because I do think he'll lose them before Adam Cole returns, I do think it's going to be the Kingdom, because then that way Roderick Strong can also be involved at ringside, and it can have that sort of 3-on-1 advantage. And I think that then is the right team to do so. I'm surprised the Kingdom actually aren't involved here at this moment, but the Righteous have maximized their TV time perfectly, to the point that I'm quite happy to see them getting that push in AEW to get a high profile position here on an AEW pay-per-view. We'll probably be quite quick on these next few predictions. We'll start then with Ricky Starks going against Wheeler Yuta. For me, when I look at this one, honestly, I just think Ricky Starks is going to pick up the victory. That's pretty much where I stand with this. We've had Starks versus Danielson in a couple of blaze of glory matches. Obviously, we had the first one that took place at All Out. That was incredible. That strap match was brilliant. We've had the Texas Death match just recently on Collision as well. Ricky Starks would... he survived both matches with Danielson, really has proved himself and put himself on the map. Wheeler Yuta, though, of course, wanted to give that respect. Starks didn't want to accept it, so that's what's led to the match here. And Wheeler Yuta, fantastic in-ring wrestler, but I think Starks will continue some momentum and actually get a pay-per-view victory, which I think is sorely needed. Ricky Starks is doing tremendous work at the minute, and I think a win certainly is in his future. Moving on to match 8, we've got Eddie Kingston going against Shibata, with the Ring of Honor World Championship and New Japan Strong Openweight Championship are on the line. Let's not forget Shibata is the pure champion, could be walking away with 3 championship belts if he was to win on this show. Eddie Kingston, of course, has said that Shibata is the closest resemblance to an Inoki, and thinks he's a perfect person to defend these championships against. I think that this could be a sleeper pick match here. Honestly, I really think people may underestimate this one. It could be a very good match coming up this Sunday. But to give a prediction, Eddie Kingston has just won the Ring of Honor World Championship. Of course, he is the Strong Openweight champion as well. I can see him keeping both championships in the meantime. Eddie Kingston has had his big moment at Grand Slam. Let's let him enjoy it for a little while. He shouldn't be dropping either championship in the near future, in my personal opinion. Match 9, and there were some couple of questions that have come flying in, so I will address those after the last couple of matches. We will start, though, with the TBS Championship. Kris Statlander defending against Julia Hart. Julia Hart has not been pinned or defeated in 18 months. And, of course, the last match that she did lose was against Kris Statlander. So very interesting. Julia Hart probably be with Brody King at ringside as well. Will Julia Hart get the win? I think it's 26, 27 matches without being defeated. And of course, she's done incredible with House of Black. I've really enjoyed her work. She's improving in ring. To think she's only 21 years old. The future is very bright for Julia Hart. But AEW, I'm going to have a quick drink. Hold on one second. The throat's tickling. Excuse me, apologies. But Julia Hart, for me, a new star potentially on the horizon, a new era being promised for AEW from Tony Khan. Do you shoot the shot? Do you give Julia Hart that championship and move on and see what you can do with it? Or do you just have the champion retain in Statlander? Very sorry. Very sorry indeed. That's the big question here. For me personally, I think Statlander is going to retain. Just purely because of the fact that I think Julia Hart, it's still a bit too soon, in my opinion, although she's really improved. And they've done a good job in building this match, because she's actually got some credible wins on Dynamite and Collision and Rampage over the recent weeks. So to put her in this strong position is really cool. But I'm at the moment here where I think Statlander is, she's been someone that people have been behind for a very, very long time. I would be surprised if she dropped the TBS Championship so soon. However, there have only been 2 TBS champions in history in AEW right now. Perhaps maybe it's time to crown a third, because of course the first one held it for a very, very long time, and she's no longer with the company. She's moved on to WWE. Of course, I'm talking about Jade Cargill. So this one really could go either way. I'm sort of on the fence with this one a little bit, can see it from both sides of the argument, but I will predict Statlander. Last but not least, the match I'm most looking forward to, the main event, the dream match. Bryan Danielson, of course, from Seattle, going against the New Japan World TV Champion, Zack Sabre Jr. This match was supposed to take place a year ago on Forbidden Door. Of course, Danielson was injured at the time. It wasn't possible to do that match. We, of course, had Claudio Castagnoli going against Sabre Jr. in the end on that show. I'm going to be, first off, very biased here. Of course, I attended All In very, very recently. All In, of course, was at Wembley Stadium. If Danielson was good to go a week later and Sabre was not on the show. Surely this could have been on All In. Surely it could have been. But maybe people say that show was long enough, and you needed a dream match for this show. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a fantastic technical masterclass from start to finish. These two are two brilliant technical wrestlers. I'm very excited at the prospect of them in ring. Not much story to share, so it just comes down simply to a prediction. And look, I'm not going to bet against Bryan Danielson. We don't know how long we've got Danielson left in ring full time anyway. He reckons he's got one more year full time. If it is going to be the end after this, then in my personal opinion, how great to see that we will get to see Danielson versus Sabre Jr. It is one match that you need to tick off the list before Danielson hangs those boots up. I want to see Danielson versus Ospreay. I want to see Omega one more time. I even think a match with Orange Cassidy would be a lot of fun. Adam Cole being another one. So there are plenty of people I'd like to see Danielson mix up in the ring with before he hangs the boots up. And I'm so pleased that we will get to see him against Zack Sabre Jr. here on what will be a WrestleDream nonetheless. So that's my predictions there for WrestleDream this weekend. And before we do, we're going to the comments very, very quickly. American Nightmare asking, am I going to be talking about Edge? Well, let's do so. Is Edge, aka Adam Copeland, going to debut on this show? I think that's simply definitely a big speculation talking point. Obviously, the show is called WrestleDream. It's the dream match. It's the aspect of things that we didn't think we would get happening. So for me, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that if Edge, aka Adam Copeland, is going to debut in AEW at all, it is going to happen on this show. I feel like this is the place to do it, unless he is the devil, of course, that is portraying backstage that attacked Jay White. I'm not going to predict that. I don't see that at this particular moment. I think when you look at the body shape and the body type, it does not resemble an Edge that would be under the devil character. And Edge certainly wouldn't be a follower of somebody's message. He would be someone that would be delivering his own message. The question as well would be, would he be there to spite a Christian Cage, of course, his old tag team partner? Maybe he'd be on side of Christian Cage. No one says Adam Copeland has to come in as a babyface. He could be as a heel. Could he confront Bryan Danielson? Of course, the last time Bryan Danielson was in WWE with Edge, they had a bit of a rivalry sort of going on, lingering, that never really got concluded. They were in a WrestleMania main event, but it felt like there could have been something that could have carried on with those two after WrestleMania. So they could do something in AEW instead. I'm fascinated to see what will happen. I'm going to stick my neck out and say it's going to happen because I predicted he would turn up at Grand Slam, which didn't happen. I think this is the show that he does show up at. If he doesn't show up here, I then think that it's more likely Edge either retires or comes back to WWE around Royal Rumble time. I've got a question from Eric Douglas asking who is Mariah May. She is a UK female wrestling talent. She is someone that has been plying her trade in Stardom for quite a while now. She's doing fantastic work in Stardom as well. Some great, I've seen quite a few clips of matches. I don't get to see too many full-length matches, but what I've seen of her work, she looks like she is a big rising talent that certainly should be snapped up by one of the major companies in the future, whether it be All Elite Wrestling, whether it be WWE, whoever manages to get her signature long-term will be getting a great investment in their company. And I'm not just being biased because I'm from the UK. She really is talented at what she does. So that's all the comments we've got in. And yeah, just to quickly finish, I will talk about the devil. I think let's talk about MJF and the devil just to end it off, because is he the guy that's under the mask? MJF, I think he's being framed in that position to start off early doors. If you look, there have been some teasers that have been going around. Of course, the idea that we've seen Adam Cole and MJF, of course, backstage when they had recently won those ROH World Tag Team titles. The mask was hanging up behind Adam Cole. We've seen, of course, the idea of the friendship of having more than one friend. Adam Cole was thrown out there, and it's okay to have more than one friend. What if he has a few friends, not just Roderick Strong? We know Adam Cole's history with Undisputed Era, Undisputed Elite, for example. Kyle O'Reilly could be someone that could be due back at some point in the future. I can't imagine Bobby Fish coming back in, but never say never in this particular world at this particular time. If they need to fill out the numbers, it could be what they could do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were to do it. But, I mean, MJF has been untrusting with Adam Cole. Maybe he should be untrusting, but I do think Adam Cole ultimately will be the person behind it all. I just believe that the person underneath that devil mask could probably be someone like Roderick Strong, for example, just to sort of tease it up further, kind of like that obvious thing, even though he's been maybe already accused at that point. You can see the Kingdom, you can see Kyle O'Reilly, maybe Bobby Fish being under there, Adam Cole at first being upset with the idea, but then of course Turner and MJF become the leader of that group, and then go and win that world title. We couldn't win it clean at Wembley at All In. That could be the motive of why this has happened. And a new era of AEW as well. It'd make a lot of sense then to have this super faction that could then help go and win that world title. And could it be done before, of course, you get MJF going to 2024 when that contract is up? But of course, it all depends on Adam Cole's ankle as well. I think depending on that injury, they may need to drag that story out for quite a while. American Nightmare says, yeah, they definitely need to do one last program with Edge and Christian if Edge is going to be all elite. Absolutely. I wouldn't be against Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys one more time. I'm going to throw that out there. Very recently got to watch the No Mercy 1999 show again, which was reviewed on this channel. And of course, got to see their classic ladder match, the one that put all 4 of the names on the map. Highly recommend going and checking that match out if you haven't seen it, and also that review as well. But certainly would love to see that as well. Could be a lot of fun, especially as Christian Cage did make reference of not having his proper tag team partner recently after losing it All In. Of course, he was referring to Luchasaurus, but of course, maybe he should have been referring to Adam Copeland. So that's all from me anyway. Thank you all for watching. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, share with a friend as well, and subscribe. Of course, enjoy WrestleDream, of course, taking place this Sunday in Seattle, Washington. My name's been Steve. We're watching SCW. If you're into NXT, check out the No Mercy predictions available now with Too Sweet Kyle from On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. The quiz for No Mercy as well is on the channel. There was a retro for No Mercy. And of course, next week, WWE Fastlane predictions will be on the channel as well. So plenty coming up. Make sure to keep your eyes glued here on the channel. Of course, more AEW content will be on the way, and if you're a fan of Impact Wrestling, we're also on the road to Bound for Glory. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves and each other. I'll see you next time here on YouTube. Take care.